Hello everyone, welcome to Out of Spec Guide. I'm Max, and a couple days ago this box came to my house from a company called Vivor. They make charging hardware, and I've got this EVSE. Now if you're a regular Out of Spec Guide viewer, you might be like, Max, you don't have an EV, why are you using this? Well, that changed because I got one, and I'm going to tell you all about it in a second, but really briefly, this is some exciting hardware that I can't wait to set up because I do want to be able to what's called level 2 charge my car at home overnight. Currently in our garage we have, I'm renting this house, a 110 volt outlet up there that's also the same circuit for the garage door opener, so that's not going to fly. We need NEMA 1450 in here, so I'm going to pitch in, maybe Out of Spec will pitch in to get the wiring set up to do that, so that even though in this garage only like bikes and things are stored, the cord can at least wrap around through the door and I can charge that EV overnight reliably. I'm going to talk to my houseman about getting that set up. We'll have plenty of videos for you on that topic, but more excitingly for the rest of this video, if you want to know what kind of car I got, what the tour of it is, and all the details, well, you might already know by the title and the thumbnail, but I'm going to tell you all about it, so stay tuned. So the car I picked up is this certified pre-owned Polestar 2 that had 7,000 miles on it. Unfortunately, it was a rental car in Florida, but still 7,000 miles isn't that many. And when I looked to inspect it, I couldn't find any like curbed wheels or anything. Now, maybe that's been painted over. I don't know. We'll have an out-of-spec detailing video all about testing the build quality of this car, even though it's a used car, because of course I bought it certified from Polestar. So I'm going to go over in this video what the buying experience for that was like, overview of this car, all that. But let's begin. What is this car? What is the Polestar brand? Polestar is basically a sub-brand of Volvo. They're like Volvo's performance division, or that's what they've historically been, like what AMG is to Mercedes, what M is to BMW, etc. But recently, Geely, the Chinese company that owns, I think, a majority stake in Volvo, has spun out Polestar into its own brand that makes electric performance vehicles. And the Polestar 2 is currently their only like really mass market offering. Upcoming is the Polestar 3, which is basically a Volvo XC90, but electric and much spicier. But this car is more of a Tesla Model 3, now Hyundai Ioniq 6 competitor. And I considered this one because, well, I just didn't want a Tesla. I know Tesla has the best charging network. I know their cars have the best efficiency and specifications, but I frankly just don't like the way Model 3s look. There's way too many of them around Boulder. I don't want to be another person driving a white Model 3. So I got this guy in the moon color. It's pre-owned, 7,000 miles on it. It was a rental, unfortunately, but I got it because it was $46,000. That's already $21,000 of depreciation off a new one. And what are the specs we're dealing with here? Well, this is a dual motor, all-wheel drive, sedan looking thing, but it's actually a hatchback like I'm going to show you in a minute. It's got the distinctive Volvo Thor's hammer headlights, and it is a Polestar 2 that's outfitted with, well, before I get to the options, let's just tell you the basic specs. So because it's dual motor, it's 300 kilowatts. It's a 150 kilowatt motor on each axle, so that makes this car all-wheel drive. And it's a 78 kilowatt hour gross battery. I believe of that 75 kilowatt hours are usable. It's got these really cool performance Brembo brakes and the gold valve stems, 20-inch summer tires, cool performance tires. It's got gold seat belts, which are really nice. So that's the performance pack that Polestar offers. It's also got the Plus pack, which offers a premium sound system and some features like ventilated seats, which are these nice blonde leather ones. The base Polestar seats I'm not a fan of. They're this black cloth. They call it Weave Tech. It's really cloth. I think it feels cheap. This is much nicer. Kyle likes to joke this is like a perfect old man spec car because of like the bronzish exterior color and the tan interior. I take that in stride. I think this is a great old man car, but man, this is nice. I mean, this is just a nice kind of light interior. You've got a panoramic sunroof. That's standard on all, I believe, Polestar is with the Plus pack. And it has Pilot, which is like Volvo/Polestar's highway assist driving system with lane centering and adaptive cruise control. Unfortunately, you can buy this car for like $60,000 new without the Pilot pack if you don't have it. And if you don't have that, you're buying a car that's that expensive without adaptive cruise, which I just think is crazy. In general, I think buying this car new right now is crazy because the Tesla prices, if you've watched Ryan's video where he picked up his new Model 3, are so crazy, right? Tesla's dropping prices, they're eligible for the tax credit again. Polestar isn't eligible for the tax credit, and they're only eligible if you lease one. I wasn't interested in leasing another car. I wanted to own a car, so financing this used one and decided to try their certified program. So not having the tax credit, they're just insane new prices, made me not consider that option. So that's how I've ended up here. You might notice I'm missing a little piece of A-pillar plastic here. I picked this model up in Portland, Oregon. And when you drive thousands of miles, well, 1,400 miles across the country, things happen. And you can see this is what it's supposed to look like. This piece flew off on 93, the very windy road, super close to my house. So very unfortunate, but that's a warranty item, I think. That's build quality. It's concerning, but because it's used, who knows, maybe the last owner had a windshield replacement and the people installing it didn't apply the cover correctly, so it flew off for that reason. I don't know, but it looks like it's just these clips here. Should be pretty easy to do labor-wise. I'm just hoping to have the part in stock, so I'm going to have a video detailing everything about the Polestar service experience with regards to that, because close to us in Denver, there is a Polestar showroom. There are actually about 30 Polestar showrooms across the country. I went to the one in Portland because they had the cheapest used inventory, and what was that experience like? Well, looking on their website for a used or new one is very similar. Either way, when you find the spec you like, you put down a $1,000 refundable deposit, and then they tell you when your car is ready. In the case of mine, it was ready right away because it was on their lot. It's a used, certified model. And I flew to pick it up and look at it. And no surprises, very quick paperwork. I signed everything they told me to, or they asked me to. Read through the paperwork briefly, and they didn't try to sell me any warranties or anything. It's very much like the Tesla model. They basically copied it, and I think that's a good thing because I am so sick of dealers. That said, servicing this, I believe they do work with Volvo dealerships, so I think for a lot of parts of the country, you're just gonna go to Volvo to service these. Though I don't think all Volvo dealers can service Polestars, only certain ones. That's a situation I'll have to figure out. Anyhow, so that's the specs of the car. That's the buying experience. Let me give you a tour of some of the moving parts. So this car, like I said, looks like a sedan, but it's actually a hatchback. So I could open the trunk with the key like a normal person would, or I could do the cool kick maneuver because this has a kick sensor. So when the key's nearby, it actually will just open, and you can see this is a hatch space, which is awesome. You can fold down these seats, tons of space. You get this nice cargo cover. It's a Volvo, basically, so super practical with the grocery bag holders and all that, all these clips. There's a 12-volt there. Wish they gave you a 110 outlet. I feel like every EV should do that now. That'd be awesome, but they don't. And then you've got a ski pass through as well. More cargo stuff for groceries. Super nice. Now, EV nerds may be wondering, what about the Frunk Max? Well, that's where things get interesting because this car is based off Volvo's CMA platform. CMA is the platform used on the Volvo XC40 and the Volvo XC40 Recharge and the Volvo C40. Basically, those are small crossovers. So as a result, you actually have to pop it like a hood because parts of this car's architecture are shared with its gas brethren or its hybrid brethren in certain cases. So if I open this, I believe there's a latch somewhere here. Yep, it's distinctively yellow, so that's a Volvo feature. If I open it, there actually is a frunk and there is a jack, though I'm not sure what you use it for because there's no spare tire in this car, but they do give you some fix-a-flat components, tire sealant, all that, and an air compressor, so that's kind of nice, but it's very common. I don't think there's many EVs in the market currently that come with a spare tire. If any come to mind for you, please let me know. But at least you do get a frunk, but I will say it's small. Now, a lot of frunks are small now. Model 3 has a small frunk. Ioniq 5 and EV6, the Korean car, is built on the EGMP platform. Those really barely have frunks at all, so this beats those, but it's not as big as Mach-E. It's not as big as Model 3. It's definitely not as big as Model Y, and it's well short of the trucks like the R1T or the F-150 Lightning, but this is a smaller car. However, because I was mentioning earlier, it's built on that CMA platform, the frunk is not the only compromise made in this car's packaging. Be careful when you close the frunk. I'm filming with one hand, but I would recommend doing this with two hands because there's actually two hood latches. When I was looking for this car used, I saw a lot of listings where the dealers didn't seem to know the hood had two latches. So they would take a picture and the hood would be like popped at one corner. It's like, come on, I can't believe you're selling cars if you don't notice things like that. Anyhow, another really cool design feature in this car, frameless mirrors. These are so cool. They move entirely, the whole body of the mirror when you adjust. That is just, I think, so spectacular. You've got traditional door handles, and you've got proximity sensor, or not proximity sensors, you've got like capacitive lock and unlock switches on all four of them. That is so cool. Like, not actually common on a lot of cars. For cost savings, they typically only do it on the front two doors, sometimes only the driver's door. But in this one, you get it on every door. So if I open the car, also I like that this is not a frameless window. It's a full door. Way less delicate than, in my opinion, the Model 3 frameless windows. So I'm gonna step into the seat here, and you'll see I'm presented with, if you've seen a modern Volvo, a familiar looking steering wheel, but it has the Polestar logo. I've got my adaptive cruise controls because this car has the Pilot Pack. I've got my media controls, my voice assistant. If I use Apple CarPlay, this is Siri. I've got Android Automotive, and I've got to be honest, I love this. This is like, I've used Tesla software, and in some ways Tesla software is better than this. In other ways, this is honestly better. This is so much better than the vast majority of car infotainment. It's basically an Android tablet, blown up but optimized for a car. The car is natively running apps like Spotify, Google Maps, the Assistant, so I can say the name of the Google Assistant, but I won't do that right now, and trigger it for having it play music or read the news. All of that is super useful, and I can still use Apple CarPlay if I plug in my phone. It's not wireless, but I don't like wireless Apple CarPlay because of the latency and the compression with Bluetooth audio, so I prefer to just plug in. You can see some performance controls for the vehicle. Control your steering because it's electronic power. Turn off your traction control for sport mode. A one pedal drive because this car does do one pedal, or when you lift off it will slow to a stop with regenerative braking. You could simulate creep if you wanted to, where like in a traditional automatic torque converter gas car, it creeps forward when you let off the accelerator. I don't know why anyone would want to keep that sensation, but some people like to drive what they're used to. You have all the assist controls here. Now it says Bliss unavailable, but as soon as you drive, it becomes available, and it does work. I've tested it on the highway, so that's just a quirk in the software. There is a charge limiter, and really importantly for EV nerds out there, or anyone really, you can control the amperage on level 2 charging. So when you're plugged into like home charging or different wall boxes that may not be rated for like a full 40 amps, this car can actually do up to 48. You can lower that. So that is really cool. I'm in big support of that. Super nice, just convenient kind of nerdy feature, as well, of course, setting a charge limit. The Nissan Ariya doesn't let you do that, and I find that ridiculous. When you get in this car, you also have this instrument cluster, unlike Model 3. Really like having the screen there. And just by me getting in the car, I'm in. Like a Tesla, which I love, you just get in and you would shift the transmission into, reverse drive, whatever you want, and it goes. And then when you're ready to leave, you put it in park and you get it out of the car and it turns off. This is so cool. I don't know why every EV manufacturer doesn't do that. More about my specific trim here. I've got the cool wood accents. You might see the lighting here. It really comes alive at night. Really cool illuminated space in here. This center console area is another one of those compromises because they're using CMA. So they had to incorporate the space for what would have been the drive shaft, and they packaged it with batteries, but it's resulted in this really awkward, I think, quite thick center console. And you have a single cup holder. To use the other one, you have to give up your armrest entirely. Little goofy, but that's one of the quirks of this car. There's a gift from my girlfriend that hopefully she doesn't know about yet, that I'll just hide. And these ventilated seats are really nice. I think they're going to be so nice for summer road trips when we go on those, especially considering you have this panoramic glass roof. It's tinted, but still it is going to get hot in here, I predict. So I'm so glad that I don't have the black cloth interior. The back seats are similarly outfitted. They only have heated seats, unfortunately, but hey, heated rear seats is still pretty nice to have. You can see the area where I would pass through skis or something. Super nice. So I love that you have that. Very cool design detail. I mean, you'd be surprised how many cars don't seem to have a middle pass through. So I'm glad this one at least does. And yeah, overall build quality, aside from that A-pillar plastic that fell off, has seemed really good in here. I have noticed that the Öhlins dampers, which are these high performance damper components the car comes with because it has the performance pack, seem to make squeaking noises at low speeds. I've looked it up on Reddit. This is very normal, unfortunately, for Polestars. It's not an end of the world issue, but if it becomes more annoying, I'm gonna have them look into it. But overall, I'm extremely happy with this car, especially for what I got it for used and depreciated. It is such a gorgeous spec of car, and it's gonna help enable me to make much more relevant content for all of you, because now I own an EV and I live with one, and I'm gonna have to figure out charging. Right now, I'm charging in my neighborhood's charge points, which are free, which is sweet. There's an apartment complex with charge point parking that no one ever seems to use. So I just plug in there, no one complains. But I'm gonna get that set up for my home soon. In the meantime, really enjoying this, even on 20-inch summer tires that handled snowy I-70. Don't recommend that. So definitely gonna get winters put on it for that season. But yeah, this is my car now, trading in my Mini, giving up gas, all EV. I'll let you all know what it's like, and in the meantime, plenty more content to come. Let us know what you want to see with the Polestar, comparing it to Ryan's Model 3, what those ownership experiences are like, what other kinds of content you want to see. Just let us know and we'll do it for you. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.